Hey everyone, this is Jake Berry. I'm here with Clay Williams on Cabin Fever. Clay, it's been a while, and it's not the same doing football, the football season without you. But you're a Cowboys fan,
Oh boy,
and we're just
getting
going to
right
start
to
right
it.
away.
Woo!
You're a Cowboys fan,
Ouch.
and okay, first of all, I don't know about those sidearm, those slinging sideways sidewinders. I don't even know how you even like how he threw them in some of them. But Danucci last night, the Cowboys played the Eagles. It wasn't a pretty game.
No, it was not a pretty game. The Nooch was not on fire. His Pat Mahomes like Uncle Rico sidearm throws were not getting the job done. Uh, what I did see from the Cowboys last night was a little more effort than we've seen like the previous weeks before. I don't know if that's because everybody felt sorry for the quarterback being back there, and the rookie quarterback didn't want to see him get killed the way Andy Dalton did, or what. So there was a little more effort. But no, this team stinks. Philadelphia is not good. If you thought last night's Dallas Cowboys defense looked better, you say, oh, wow, we got something good out of the defense. No, 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 no. It's just because the Philadelphia Eagles are so bad. The NFC East is horrible. The Dallas Cowboys are horrible. My team is horrible, but so is Philadelphia. So is Washington. I know a couple of people who are thinking that the football team, as they are now known, might be the best team in this division. It's just a matter if they can get their stuff together in time or not. But and of course, we're still waiting to see how badly the Giants get beat tonight.
And when do you say that the Cowboys should call this season a wash and just throw in the towel?
When do they throw in the towel? When they're more than 3 games back. That might not ever happen with this division. Yeah, as long as there's life, there's hope. Bill Parcells always said, once you get in the tournament, then anything can happen. And now, it's not like, it's terrible that one NFC East team is going to host a playoff game. It'll probably be something like the Bears going to, Dallas or Washington, or Philadelphia, maybe Philadelphia for the opening, week of the season. And that's going to be horrible because whoever it is going to get crushed. But, until you're out of it, you got to keep trying. Now, if Andy Dalton gets hurt again, can't let the quarterback, he never got a concussion before. You can't, if he comes back next week and he gets another concussion, you have to shut him down for the whole season. And then you're stuck with the nooch for the rest of the year.
And that's saying something that Andy Dalton never had a concussion in his career, and he played for the Bengals.
Yeah,
So,
how about that? After you're watching Joe Burrow get chased around like a like a mouse in a old Disney cartoon for days and days on end, and finally he came through yesterday as well. But yeah, no, playing for the Bengals all that time and not coming up with a concussion at one point makes you wonder how lucky Dalton was. And now at his advanced age, you have to wonder how much time he's got left once he gets his first. Troy Aikman always said once he got his first, he was more likely to get him down the road, and that's what happened to him. Is like once you start getting them, you're more likely to get them, even from little dings. Sometimes they can cause concussion. So this is nothing to sneeze at for Andy Dalton.
okay, and on here, the Cowboys, they don't have an easier schedule. They've got to play
No,
Pittsburgh next. Look, I mean, yes, you want to make the playoffs, yes. But do you really want to make the playoffs when you could possibly get a Trevor Lawrence or somebody like that down the line?
it's too late for that. It's too late for that. They've already won 2 games. You know, they're stuck in a division where everybody's round robin, and you might have the Giants and the Cowboys fighting to see who can lose against each other in the final week of the season, something like that. But no, it's too late, man. The Jets have already got it wrapped up. They're 0-7 now, or I don't even know. I think 0-7. You've already won too many games, and it's not like the Cowboys want to get a a franchise quarterback. It's not like they're going to chase after Fields from Ohio State or Vance from up your way. They're not. I don't think they're in the market to get a number one pick like Lawrence, And if they traded up to get one, that would just be ridiculous because this Cowboys team has tons and tons of holes in it, and they need to use every single draft pick. They need to get more draft picks. They need to start trading away more people and get more draft picks. And the great thing about it is it's not a fire sale. They could trade away tons of people and still be competitive in the NFC East.
Yeah, you could that last night's game looked like a very bad college game. Yeah. But having said that, the Eagles are playing with receivers that nobody really wants.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, they don't have hardly anybody, but you know what? Out of the quarterbacks last night, which one looked like the rookie and which one looked like he was his fifth year? Because Carson Wentz is – I mean, I know he doesn't have much to work with, but he's still – he looks more gun-shy than he did. It's like after his second year in the league, he started to go downhill a little bit. And like I said, I know he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. It's not like anybody's ever heard of any of those Eagles receivers, but still he's putting the ball where he shouldn't. He's not reading the defenses right. I don't know what's up with Carson Wentz.
Are you playing fantasy football? Because I am, and I had Saquon Barkley went out right away. Second game of the season. Injuries have been a plague upon this season. What do you think is why is this happening? I guess.
Well, I mean, it's easy to point at COVID-19 and say, and you can point at coronavirus for a lot of the ills of this season. You can point at it at Mike McCarthy and say, why are the Cowboys going up to Jane Slater at the NFL Network and telling her that nobody likes the coaches and that they don't know what they're doing? It's because they don't have any connection with these coaches. They didn't go to, mini camps with them. They didn't go to OTAs with them. They didn't go to Oxnard with them. They don't have any connection with these coaches. They've got no time to practice. So, that's one thing that's happening because of coronavirus is you find out that these first-year coaches don't have a whole lot of a connection with their teams. And then, like you're saying, they haven't been working out. They haven't been, in with the trainers every single day the way they are usually. And that's going to make a difference with some of these guys. Now, that being said, I haven't seen it really. I mean, the good teams are still good. It's not like I'm seeing a drop-off in the entire NFL in terms of standard of play, other than the NFC East, obviously. But, the great teams are still great, and they're still performing the way they usually perform. But I think you're right in the fact that a lot of these injuries that we're seeing are because they're not with the trainers, with the nutritionists, with, the guys giving them massages, during the entire offseason. These guys had to rely on anything they could find, any home gym, down in their basement to try and stay in shape. And for a lot of them, I think probably it didn't really work that well.
Okay, so did you do fantasy, by the way?
I did not, man.
Okay.
No. I'm tired of getting, drafting a quarterback and watching him go out in the next to last preseason game.
Because you need to go with a kicker. You need to go with a kicker right away. That's your problem. No, okay.
How about Greg the Leg last night, though? Have you ever seen a kick like that?
Yeah,
that line drive.
Mm-hmm.
He like hooked it. It was like a Bryson DeChambeau golf shot. He was fading it across out of that was a worm burner. It didn't get much higher than the crossbar. I'd never seen that before.
Here's a question: if he doesn't make that, what are people saying?
If he doesn't make it, then they're saying McCarthy probably shouldn't have gone for the field goal at that point. But I don't think anybody's going to, blame Greg Zuerlein for that.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's been one of the standout Cowboys of the year. He's been one of the most consistent players that Dallas has had.
Did you? Okay, I guess you know what. I was going to go to the NBA Finals because we haven't talked NBA in a while. But here's the thing: I want to ask, who's going to actually have who has more chances of getting balls thrown his way? Dez Bryant with the Ravens, if he signs. I don't know if he's signed yet or if he's
he's on the practice.
He's on the practice squad.
He's on the practice squad. Because he was not dressed out yesterday against Pittsburgh
because they didn't look too good.
The TV cameras were showing him.
Oh, okay.
Like up in a suite or something.
Okay, so Dez or AB, Antonio Brown, who's going to have more touches, I guess. Let's just say that, or target.
Well, here's who I hope has more touches. It's Dez Bryant. You can talk all you want about Dez and his outgoing personality and shouting in the locker room and shouting at coaches on the thing, but he's never done anything off the field to the extent that Antonio Brown has. Antonio Brown's got to show me that he's he's willing to be a functioning member of society. Nobody's ever had a problem with Dez Bryant with that. Sometimes he's every time Dez Bryant is yelling at a teammate or yelling at a coach, it's because he wants to win and he wants to do better. Antonio Brown, when he has a good game, if he has one good game, he's going to be quiet until then. But once he has that one big game, he's going to be back on social media. He's going to be back acting the fool. And, right now, I think Antonio Brown is probably more talented than Dez. Dez hasn't been on the field for, 2.5 years, not since he got hurt when he was with the Saints. So, AB's probably got the advantage, but I am rooting for Dez Bryant. I actively root for Dez Bryant to do well, and I hope he comes through. I'd love to see him catching some Lamar Jackson well-thrown balls for the Ravens. That'd be great.
All right, next up, NBA Finals. Okay, what did you think about the bubble? And did it end the way? Well, it didn't end the way I wanted. I imagine it didn't end the way you wanted. What was your take on it?
Okay, well, listen. First off, kudos to the NBA for making that bubble work. Everything they had to go through. They went out, they got the tests, they were testing everybody every day. They had the tiers. In order to be next to the players, you had to have a certain color badge, and if you didn't have a certain color badge, you couldn't get next to anybody, and they had the whole thing locked down, and it was impressive. It was amazing. I think the last time we talked, I told you what the logistics would have to be in order for one of these leagues to finish a season. And it was going to have to be, I told you, you have to get the tests. You have to be able to test everybody every day, if you've got an outbreak. And, despite, Sweet Lou Williams having to go out for Atlanta's best wings, they got it done. And I was incredibly impressed with it. The NBA. Now then, the problem is, can they get the players to do it again? Because the players didn't like it. They didn't have any fun. What was it? The families of the last two teams got to join them in the last 2.5 weeks. Other than that, they were like 3 months without seeing anybody except the people they were playing against every day.
Yeah, and Daniel House brought in his own family. no relations, but yeah.
That former Rio Grande Valley Viper, Daniel House. We loved to watch him, didn't we? Yeah. He made a mess of it. But no, I was impressed with what the NBA did. I was impressed with the bubble. And once again, LeBron comes through, and LeBron, what is it, 10 straight finals? That's, is that ever going to be equaled again? That's Bill Russell type stuff right there. That's amazing. And the way he was able to work and make Anthony Davis a better player, I thought was probably the biggest thing that he was able to do, because who else was on that team that was really producing every day? You didn't have a third player who was consistent. You had a different third player every day, and somebody would usually step up and come through. But for the Lakers, it was the Brow, and it was King James, and then it was pick a name out of a hat every single night. So that was very impressive for the Lakers to be able to do that.
First of all, it was never Danny Green either. There was his name was never drawn out of that hat. But having said that, like, I look at it and I think AD was the real catalyst, because you think about this: how bad were they the year before when LeBron was kicking balls out of bounds and dribbling it off his kneecaps? I think about AD kind of being that pivotal person, because you didn't need a third person like you did in Miami, like you did in Cleveland. He was the end all be all. If it wasn't LeBron, it was AD.
Yeah, no, you got a point there. LeBron and the LeBron heirs weren't much until AD got there. That's true. And no matter how good LeBron is at making other players around him better, he wasn't able to do much with that team last year. But yeah, you put him with an MVP caliber guy like the Brow, and yeah, they were able to get it done. I was rooting so hard for Jimmy Buckets. I love the way that guy plays. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't like him unless they, live in Minnesota, I guess. But yeah, I love Jimmy Butler. He's Pat Riley must love him too. Spoelstra loves him. I really liked watching that team gel through the playoffs. I enjoyed watching the Miami Heat play. They were a fun team to watch. It was fun to watch those guys come out of nowhere and become stars. A lot of them. And there were nights when Jimmy Butler didn't hit a whole lot of shots, but he made a lot of people around him better as well. So that was a fun part of the NBA Finals and the NBA postseason as a whole.
Okay, I guess there's one last question with the NBA. Why do you think it is that the LeBron and some of the Lakers, Caruso, they don't want to shave their head? They should, but they don't. Like, if you've seen Caruso for the longest time had the most thinningest of hairs, and he did not want. He was like trying to keep the last 10 pieces of hair on his head. And so, same thing with LeBron. He's got that Chia Pet solution going. It's. I embraced the bald a while back.
I was about to say this is a topic that kind of hits home for you. I know it's what you embrace. Embracing the bald brotherhood, as Michael Wilbon puts it. No, I don't understand when it stopped being cool, because I thought Michael Jordan made that cool forever, and apparently, I don't know. Yeah, at least LeBron's not doing who was it? Oh gosh, who was the guy who used the magic marker on his head to make his hairline? Look, I can't remember.
Yeah, I gotta remember that too. I know what you're talking about.
I cannot remember who it was, but it was the same guy who rented out Prince's house. Was it Paul Millsap? Nah, anyway, I don't remember. Anyway, I don't know why he doesn't embrace the Bald Brotherhood. He should. More guys should. I don't know. Maybe it's fallen out of favor, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Last thing is Major League Baseball. Okay. Astros had a chance to be in the World Series again, but they couldn't hear the trash cans. And
oh my goodness, taking shots.
But Tampa Bay, for having an entire roster that was making less than Clayton Kershaw and who's the last?
Mookie Betts put together.
Mookie. They put up a fight.
Well, they put up a great fight. It goes to show you what, it's that market inefficiency, right? It's the analytics. It's the Moneyball thing that Billy Beane talked about so long ago. You can get the right guys and for the right amount of money, put them together. And, if you've got the right puzzle pieces, you can make a team that is so much more than the sum of its parts. That's what the Tampa Bay Rays are. And that being said, what the Los Angeles Dodgers are is a team of superstars who are going to be superstars for a long time. I know some people say, they definitely deserve this because, the Astros beat them. And did they cheat? Well, yes, they did. And did the Red Sox cheat? Maybe they did. Hadn't been proven yet. But, it's more than that. I think it's like, I don't think Dave Roberts was ready as a manager to take this team over the hump, to get that last game, to win that last game, because he made some mistakes along the way in both the Astros and the Red Sox series that came up, and his team came up short, and Clayton Kershaw came up short, and Clayton Kershaw in the World Series before this year had a ridiculous ERA and was never able to come through. And that all changed this year. Dave Roberts made the exact right moves. Clayton Kershaw came through and won 2 games. He could have easily been the MVP. It helps that you've got an unlimited budget to where you can get one of the biggest budding superstars in Major League Baseball and Mookie Betts and get him on your team and add him to a team that's already got some superstars like Seager and guys like that. They did it, and they did it with only 2 real starting pitchers, Kershaw and Walker Buehler, and that was it. And that goes to show you what Dave Roberts was able to do. He was able to manage his bullpen just as well as Kevin Cash was able to use his, and he had to use even more because he had fewer starting pitchers than Kevin Cash had. So kudos to Dave Roberts. 3rd time's the charm. Dodgers are going to be tough to deal with for at least the next 5 years, I think, because that team is super talented. One of the great Major League Baseball writers still working today, Richard Justice, from Houston, he says this Dodgers team has more talent than any team he's seen in the last 30 years. And when you look at them top to bottom, other than the fact they've only got 2 starting pitchers, yeah, that lineup 1-9 is just spectacularly hard. I thought the Braves were going to do it. But they couldn't quite get it. That Braves team is fun to watch too. But kudos to the Dodgers. They were supposed to win. They had the best record. They did win. I guess that means the season, even though it was 100 games shorter than it was supposed to be, I guess that means it came away pretty even.
Now I'm looking at that Virginia background in the that's not fake, people. Clay's in Virginia. That's a beautiful background. There's a nice evening sky there. Now
fall has come. Well, winter. We might get some frost tonight. So
wow.
we've had some snow up in the Highlands out west. So yeah.
Now, have you had a chance to attend a football game there in Virginia?
No, high school sports hasn't even started here in Virginia, and it won't until next month. They will not start until next month, and then and that's all depending upon the numbers going down. If the coronavirus numbers don't come down, I don't think they're going to be able to. Right now, what they call it's the UIL in Texas. It's what do they call it here is the VHSL here in Virginia. And they just came out last week and they said, all right, everybody's got their protocols. Everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody's rules are hard and fast. We're good to go in December. I can't remember what, December, first week in December, they're going to start up fall sports then. And they're going to have, they're going to basically constrict and put down all the seasons, and then they'll start spring sports in February, and then they'll or winter sports in February, and then they'll start spring sports in April. And so everything will just have just about 2 months is how they're going to do it here. But there has been no sports. There have been some private schools who have played football, but very few. There's only like 5 or 6 schools in the whole state of Virginia and high school that are playing football so far this year.
Wow, that's incredible, and we're in week 4 of Valley Texas football, not the rest of Texas.
Now you tell me. You think you're gonna how far you think you're gonna get? I know you're already losing games and you're losing teams, right? Edinburgh and Sherryland.
They're postponing as much as possible right now.
Right, they've both cut athletics, right? No athletics until for a while now, right? Or is it just no games? Or is
it's just postponed. Everything's postponed, and then they're moving the schedule. For example, next week this week, Wednesday and Thursday, there's football games here in McAllen. So and then there's a Monday game as well. So think about that. There wasn't a last time. This is the first time anybody's heard about a Monday game, a Wednesday game.
I want to say when Hurricane Dolly hit, maybe there was something like that the Hurricanes postponed and everybody didn't get to play until a Monday. But you're right. It's been a long time, and it's pretty weird, I would imagine.
Yeah, and then right now girls basketball is starting, but there's still volleyball going on. Boys basketball is starting. And coaches are going to be at the whim of their players. I mean, because if they want to play football, okay, I guess I'm not going to have my basketball team for a while. It's going to be very telling to see which coaches are going to have to coach their butts off to get those wins. So, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they have to worry about all the health issues that come with it as well. Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a bubble. We're not, the NBA. We're not that lucky.
No, there's no bubble. So. Yeah. Hopefully you guys are able to keep the numbers down and keep the kids, playing. That's the thing, starting is easy. Finishing is hard. That's can you imagine Justin Turner coming up with coronavirus middle of the game 6? When would game 7 have been? It couldn't have been for like another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They would have had to quarantine everybody. We would have had 2 weeks between game 6 and game 7, like back in '89, the earthquake game when they had to 10 days between. That would have been amazing. Yeah, it's not about starting a season with the pandemic going on. It's about being able to finish. That's the tough part.
Yeah, I don't know how the playoffs are going to be because it seems to me like it's December also. Things can happen, and I still think we're still in flux right now with COVID. So who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, good luck to everybody there. That's what I got to say. Keep the numbers down. Keep wearing masks. keep, if you're in school, don't be stupid. Don't have parties. Good Lord. If you want to play football, just get up, eat, drink, and breathe football, and get your classes done. Don't worry about going out and doing stuff, because that's how you get outbreaks, man. That's how you get outbreaks.
Well, Clay, I appreciate you taking the time. I mean, it's been a while. We need to do more of these because there is pro sports.
Yeah,
and,
not as much as there was.
Yeah, and then there was the
great
Cowboys.
whenever you could well, yeah, there's pro sports and then there's the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, wasn't that great? Like last month when you could watch like a NHL hockey playoff game, an NBA playoff game, baseball playoffs, and a football game all on the same day. That was nuts. And now
that was the reason I bought the League Pass. I bought League Pass for that reason. So, but yeah. Well, Clay, thanks a lot. I appreciate you taking the time and say hi to the family. Enjoy that beautiful Virginia weather right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It is beautiful here, but yeah. Happy Dia de los Muertos to everyone back home.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye.
All right.